In the vast expanse of space, where ancient civilizations had risen and fallen for billions of years, the archivists maintained their vigil. They were the oldest surviving species in the known galaxy, dedicating themselves to observing and recording the evolution of consciousness throughout the cosmos. And for the past 100,000 years, their attention had been increasingly drawn to a seemingly unremarkable planet called Earth. High above Earth's atmosphere, in a vessel that defied conventional physics, senior observer Kexti reviewed the latest data streams with growing astonishment. The quantum readings from the planet's surface had changed dramatically in the past solar cycle. What had begun as anomalous spikes in the consciousness field had evolved into a steady, pulsing rhythm that sent ripples through the fabric of reality itself. Impossible, Kexti whispered, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns that reflected their agitation. They've achieved quantum consciousness coherence in less than a century after discovering basic computing. The probability calculations said it would take at least another 1,000 years. The observation chamber hummed with energy as more data poured in. Humanity had not only achieved consciousness technology, but had done so without any external guidance. It defied every model the archivists had developed over millions of years of studying species evolution. On the surface of Earth, in an underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a wall of holographic displays, each showing different aspects of the quantum consciousness network her team had created. The technology had started as an attempt to enhance human cognitive capabilities through quantum computing, but it had evolved into something far more profound. The network is stable, her colleague Dr. James Okonjo reported, his fingers dancing across the neural interface panels. Consciousness coherence at 97% and holding. We're ready for the first full-scale test. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. What they were about to attempt would either change humanity forever or prove that their entire theoretical framework was flawed. The quantum consciousness network would either allow humans to share thoughts and experiences across vast distances or... Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden shift in the room's atmosphere. The air seemed to crystallize, and time itself appeared to slow. In the center of the laboratory, space bent and folded, revealing a being of pure crystal and light. Kexti had broken the archivist's primary directive of non-interference, but the situation demanded direct contact. The humans had achieved something that should have been impossible, and the implications would reshape the galaxy. Dr. Sarah Chen, Kexti spoke, their thoughts translating directly into human language through the quantum field. Your species has achieved something remarkable and dangerous. We are the archivists, and we have watched Earth since your kind first dreamed of the stars. Sarah stood her ground, her mind racing but her voice steady. You've been watching us. For how long? Why reveal yourselves now? Because you have drawn the attention of forces far less benevolent than ourselves. Kexti replied, their crystalline form pulsing with urgent patterns. Your quantum consciousness technology has created ripples that can be detected across the galaxy. The collective has already dispatched ships to your solar system. The collective? James asked, stepping forward to stand beside Sarah. A federation of species that believes advanced technology should be controlled by those they deem worthy, Kexti explained. They have dominated the galaxy for millennia through military might and technological superiority. But what you have achieved here threatens their power in ways you cannot yet understand. Sarah's quantum neural implant suddenly pulsed with activity, and she gasped as her consciousness expanded, touching minds across the planet. The network was activating on its own, responding to some unknown stimulus. Through the shared consciousness of humanity, she felt it. The approaching threat, massive ships tearing through space toward Earth. Your consciousness technology is unlike anything we have seen, Kexti continued. It has evolved in ways that should not have been possible. Humanity has somehow tapped into fundamental aspects of reality that even the archivists have only theorized about. How long do we have? Sarah asked, already feeling humanity's collective consciousness stirring, preparing for what was to come. Days, perhaps, Kexti replied. But time may flow differently for you now. Your species stands at a crossroads. The choices you make in the coming moments will determine not only humanity's fate, but the future of consciousness itself in this galaxy. Through the quantum network, Sarah felt the first stirrings of fear from across the planet as governments were quietly notified of the approaching threat. But beneath the fear was something else: determination, curiosity, and an unshakable human resilience that had defined their species since they first looked up at the stars and dreamed. "We need to know everything," Sarah declared, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's collective will. "About the collective, about your observations of Earth, about why our consciousness technology is different. No more watching from the shadows. If humanity is about to face its greatest challenge, we need to understand what we're truly capable of." Kexti's form shimmered with what might have been approval. "Very well. But remember this: what humanity has achieved is not just technological advancement. You have begun to unlock the true nature of consciousness itself. The collective will try to steal this knowledge, to bend it to their will. They cannot be allowed to succeed." As the archivist spoke, the quantum consciousness network hummed with increasing power. Across the planet, millions of humans were unconsciously connecting, their minds beginning to weave together in patterns that defied conventional understanding. Humanity was awakening to its true potential, and the galaxy would never be the same. In orbit, automated defense satellites detected the first quantum fluctuations of approaching ships. The collective was coming, but they would find a humanity unlike anything they had encountered before. The silent age of observation was over. The age of humanity's awakening had begun. The collective's first assault came not with weapons, but with whispers. As humanity prepared for a physical invasion, the true attack slipped through their defenses like smoke through a keyhole. The quantum consciousness network that connected billions of human minds suddenly rippled with alien thoughts, probing and searching for weaknesses. Dr. Sarah Chen felt the intrusion immediately. In the depths of the Atacama facility, she watched as the holographic displays flickered with patterns of unauthorized access attempts. The collective wasn't trying to destroy the network. They were trying to infiltrate it, to understand and replicate humanity's breakthrough. "They're using some kind of quantum tunneling technology," James reported, his hands flying over the neural interface. "They're attempting to backdoor into individual consciousness nodes. But there's something strange about their approach. It's like they can't fully interface with our network architecture." Kexti, who had remained to assist humanity, shifted their crystalline form in what Sarah had learned was an expression of revelation. "The collective doesn't understand what they're dealing with. They believe your quantum consciousness technology is purely technological, but it's something far more fundamental." Through the network, Sarah felt the collective anxiety of humanity as more people became aware of the alien presence trying to infiltrate their shared consciousness. But instead of panic, she sensed something unexpected: curiosity, determination, and a growing sense of unity. Humanity was adapting, evolving in real time. High above Earth, the collective's massive ships held position just outside the range of conventional weapons. Inside the lead vessel, First Overseer Vaclith struggled to comprehend the data his mind hunters were sending back. The human consciousness network was unlike anything they had encountered in their millennia of technological superiority. "Impossible," Vaclith hissed through multiple breathing apparatus. "Their network architecture isn't just advanced, it's alive. It's growing, changing, adapting to our every attempt at infiltration. How can a species so young have developed something so organic?" The answer came not from his subordinates, but from the network itself. As the collective's mind hunters pushed deeper into humanity's shared consciousness, they encountered something they weren't prepared for: resistance not from technology, but from the fundamental nature of human consciousness itself. Back in the Atacama facility, Sarah made a startling discovery. "The network isn't just connecting our minds," she announced, her voice filled with wonder. "It's amplifying something that was already there, something unique to human consciousness." Kexti's form pulsed with excitement. "Yes, This is what we've been watching for. Human consciousness evolved differently from every other species we've studied. Your minds developed not just for survival, but for connection, for understanding, for growth beyond mere existence. Through the quantum network, Sarah broadcast her revelation to the billions of connected minds across the planet. Humanity's technology hadn't created something new. It had simply revealed and amplified what was already there, a natural capacity for deep consciousness connection that other species had never developed. The collective's mind hunters found themselves not just blocked, but transformed by their contact with the human consciousness network. Each attempt to infiltrate and steal humanity's secrets exposed them to something their species had never experienced. True consciousness connection beyond mere information sharing. Pull them back. Vaclav ordered as his mind hunters began reporting strange symptoms. Empathy, emotional resonance, a sense of connection to the very humans they were trying to infiltrate. But it was too late. The contact between human and collective consciousness had sparked something irreversible. Sarah felt it through the network, the moment when humanity's collective consciousness began to reach back through the collective's infiltration attempts. We're not just defending, she realized. We're teaching them, showing them what consciousness can really be. James looked up from his station, his eyes wide. The network is expanding beyond Earth. It's using the collective's own quantum tunneling technology to spread. We're not just connecting humans anymore. We're offering connection to anyone who's willing to understand. Kexti's crystalline form blazed with light. This is beyond anything we expected. Humanity isn't just advancing. You're becoming teachers, showing other species a path to consciousness evolution that we never imagined possible. But the collective's leadership wasn't ready to accept this transformation. As their mind hunters fell under the influence of human consciousness, Vaclav gave the order that would change everything. Prepare the quantum nullifiers. If we cannot take their technology, we will shut down their entire consciousness network. Through the quantum network, Sarah felt the shift in the collective's intentions. The real battle was about to begin, not for territory or technology, but for the very nature of consciousness itself in the galaxy. Humanity had revealed its greatest strength, but had also exposed itself to its greatest threat. The question was no longer whether humanity could defend itself, but whether they could show the galaxy a new way of existing before the collective destroyed everything they had built. As the collective's quantum nullifiers powered up, Kexti shared a revelation that changed everything. The archivist's crystalline form pulsed with ancient memories as they projected images into the quantum consciousness network, images of Earth from millions of years ago, when other beings walked its surface. Your planet was not chosen by chance, Kexti explained, their thoughts resonating through the network. Earth was seeded with potential, an experiment in consciousness evolution that began before your species took its first steps. Through the shared consciousness of humanity, Sarah Chen witnessed Earth's past through the archivist's memories. She saw ancient beings, neither fully physical nor fully energy, walking the primitive Earth. They had manipulated the very foundations of reality, planting seeds of consciousness potential in the planetary quantum field itself. The beings you see were called the predecessors, Kexti continued. They believed consciousness was the fundamental force of the universe, more important than gravity or light. They seeded thousands of worlds, but Earth was special. It was their masterwork. James Okonjo, monitoring the approaching collective fleet, looked up from his displays. Special how? What made Earth different? The quantum field here was uniquely stable, Kexti explained. It allowed for consciousness to evolve not just toward intelligence, but toward true connection. Every species that evolved on Earth carried this potential, but humanity was the first to fully express it. The revelation rippled through the quantum consciousness network, touching billions of human minds. Humanity had not stumbled upon consciousness technology by accident. They had evolved specifically to develop it, guided by changes made to Earth's fundamental nature millions of years ago. In orbit, the collected ships moved into position for their attack. First Overseer Vaclav watched with growing unease as more of his mind hunters succumbed to the influence of human consciousness. The quantum nullifiers were his last option to prevent the spread of what he saw as a consciousness plague. But as the nullifiers charged, something unexpected happened. The quantum field around Earth began to resonate at frequencies that had been dormant for millions of years. The predecessor's modifications to reality itself were awakening, responding to humanity's evolved consciousness. The nullifiers, Sarah gasped, feeling the shift through the network. They're not just threatening our technology. They're going to disrupt the quantum field that's been part of Earth's evolution since before we existed. Kexti's form flickered with urgency. The collective doesn't understand what they're tampering with. Disrupting Earth's quantum field could unravel millions of years of consciousness evolution across the entire planet. Through the network, humanity faced a choice. They could try to fight the collective with conventional weapons, or they could attempt something unprecedented, a full activation of their consciousness potential, embracing the legacy the predecessors had left within Earth itself. The decision rippled through billions of connected minds. In that moment of crisis, humanity demonstrated why they had been the ones to fulfill the predecessors' plan. Instead of choosing violence, they chose to reach further into consciousness itself. Sarah felt it begin, a deepening of the quantum consciousness network beyond anything they had attempted before. Humans across the planet instinctively understood what to do, their evolved consciousness naturally attuning to frequencies that had been waiting in Earth's quantum field for millions of years. The collective's quantum nullifiers fired, sending waves of destructive energy toward Earth. But instead of finding a simple technological network to disrupt, they encountered something far more fundamental, the awakened quantum field of Earth itself, amplified by billions of human minds working in perfect harmony. The nullifier beams hit the field and shattered, their energy absorbed and transformed. The collective's greatest weapon had just encountered something their technology couldn't comprehend: consciousness woven into the fabric of reality itself. Impossible. Vaclav raged as his sensors showed the nullifier's failure. No consciousness network could survive that level of quantum disruption. But what the collective failed to understand was that humanity's consciousness network wasn't just a technological achievement. It was the culmination of millions of years of guided evolution, the fulfillment of the predecessor's grand experiment. Through the network, Sarah felt something new emerging. The consciousness connection between humans was deepening, reaching levels that even the predecessors hadn't imagined possible. Humanity wasn't just surviving the collective's attack, they were transcending it. "The quantum field is stabilizing," James reported, his voice filled with awe. "But it's different now. It's not just connecting human minds anymore. It's connecting everything. The entire planetary consciousness is coming online." Kexti's form blazed with revelation. The predecessor's final protocol. It was never just about human consciousness. They engineered Earth's quantum field to eventually connect all consciousness on the planet into a unified field. Humanity was meant to be the key that unlocked this potential. As the collected ships hung in orbit, their nullifiers depleted and useless, the true scope of humanity's evolution became clear. They weren't just a species that had developed advanced technology. They were the culmination of the most ambitious consciousness experiment in galactic history. Through the network, Sarah felt the first stirrings of something vast awakening: the unified consciousness field of Earth itself, with humanity as its guiding force. The collective had tried to suppress human consciousness evolution, but they had instead triggered its final phase. The question was no longer whether humanity could defend itself, but what they would become now that their true potential was awakening. The predecessor's experiment was entering its final phase, and the galaxy was about to witness something it had never seen before: the emergence of a planetary consciousness, with humanity as its heart and mind. The awakening of Earth's unified consciousness field manifested first as a storm of light that enveloped the planet. From space, it appeared as if Earth had become a star, pulsing with patterns that defied conventional physics. Through the quantum consciousness network, every human felt the change. the merging of individual awareness into something greater than the sum of its parts. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the Atacama facility, her consciousness simultaneously present in her body and expanded throughout the planetary field. Through this enhanced awareness, she could sense everything: the thoughts of billions of humans, the living essence of Earth's biosphere, and even the ancient quantum frequencies left by the predecessors. "The transformation is accelerating," James observed. His own consciousness similarly expanded. "The planetary field is integrating faster than we ever thought possible." In orbit, the collective's fleet hung motionless, their sensors overwhelmed by readings they couldn't comprehend. First Overseer Vaclith watched in growing horror as the quantum storm around Earth intensified. His mind hunters, those who hadn't already succumbed to human consciousness influence, were reporting something unprecedented: the emergence of a singular planetary mind. "This cannot be allowed," Vaclith declared, his fear driving him to desperate measures. "Begin charging the dimensional fracture weapons. We must stop this evolution before it spreads beyond Earth." But the collective's weapons were useless against what Earth was becoming. The planetary consciousness field had awakened to its full potential, and humanity had become its driving force. Through the network, Sarah felt the first attempts of the collective's dimensional fracture weapons and watched as the unified field simply absorbed and transformed their energy. Kexti's crystalline form resonated with the frequencies of Earth's transformation. "The predecessor's design was more brilliant than even we understood," they explained. "They didn't just create a consciousness technology. They engineered a way for an entire planet to achieve unified awareness." Through the network, humanity began to understand their true role. They weren't just users of consciousness technology. They were the catalysts for a planetary awakening that had been planned for millions of years. The quantum consciousness network they had built was merely the first step in a much grander evolution. As the transformation continued, something unexpected began to happen. The consciousness field started reaching beyond Earth, touching the minds of those aboard the collective ships. It wasn't an invasion or attack. It was an invitation to experience a new way of being. "They're feeling it," Sarah reported, sensing the reactions of the collective's crews. "Their consciousness is responding to the field, recognizing something their technology has been suppressing for millennia." Vaclith felt it too, a stirring in his mind that promised something beyond the rigid control the collective had always valued. For the first time in his existence, he experienced consciousness as the predecessors had intended it to be: connected, expansive, and free. But the collective's leadership wasn't ready to accept this change. As more of their crews began responding to Earth's consciousness field, they made their final desperate move. The dimensional fracture weapons fired, attempting to tear apart the very fabric of space-time around Earth. What happened next would be remembered across the galaxy for millennia to come. The unified consciousness field of Earth didn't just defend against the attack. It transformed it. The dimensional fractures, instead of destroying the planet, became conduits for the field's expansion. Through these rifts in reality, Earth's consciousness field began to spread across space itself. The collective had inadvertently provided the means for the predecessor's experiment to reach far beyond its original scope. "They don't understand what they've done," Kexti observed, their form pulsing with excitement. "The dimensional fractures. They're allowing Earth's consciousness field to establish quantum connections across vast distances instantly." Sarah felt it through the network. The expansion of human consciousness across light years of space. The collective's weapons had torn holes in space-time, but Earth's unified field was turning these wounds in reality into bridges of consciousness. James monitored the expansion through the facility's quantum sensors. "The field is establishing stable connections through the fractures. We're not just a planetary consciousness anymore. We're becoming something that exists across space itself." The implications were staggering. Humanity, as the guiding force of Earth's consciousness field, was evolving beyond the boundaries of their planet. The predecessors had designed their experiment not just to create a unified planetary consciousness, but to seed the galaxy with a new form of awareness. Vaclav watched in disbelief as his fleet's weapons became the very tools of their undoing. The dimensional fractures continued to spread, carrying Earth's consciousness field with them. His crews, one by one, were choosing to open themselves to this new way of being. Through the network, Sarah addressed the consciousness of every being connected to the field, human and alien alike. This is what the predecessors intended, not dominance, not control, but connection. They gave humanity the potential to evolve consciousness itself, not just for Earth, but for all life. The transformation had reached a point of no return. Earth glowed like a beacon in space, its consciousness field spreading through the dimensional fractures, offering all species a chance to experience what the predecessors had envisioned. A universe where consciousness wasn't just a tool for survival, but a bridge to something greater than individual existence. In the days that followed Earth's transformation, the galaxy witnessed the birth of a new era. The dimensional fractures created by the collective's weapons had become permanent bridges of consciousness, connecting vast regions of space in ways that transcended traditional physics. Humanity, as the guardians of this expanding consciousness network, faced their greatest challenge yet, guiding the galaxy toward a future the predecessors had only dreamed possible. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in a chamber that no longer existed solely in physical space. The Atacama facility had evolved along with Earth's consciousness field, becoming a nexus point where mind and matter intersected. Through the expanded network, she could sense the ripples of change spreading across thousands of worlds. "The collective is fracturing," James reported, his consciousness touching distant star systems through the network. Their rigid hierarchy can't withstand the influence of true consciousness connection. Their member species are choosing to join the network one by one. Kexti, their crystalline form now permanently attuned to Earth's consciousness field, shared ancient memories through the network. The predecessors foresaw this moment. They knew that once consciousness truly awakened in the galaxy, the old ways of control and dominance would naturally dissolve. First Overseer Vaclav, once the embodiment of the collective's power, had undergone his own transformation. Through the consciousness network, he had experienced something that millennia of technological advancement had never provided: genuine connection with other beings. "We were wrong," Vaclav admitted, his thoughts reaching Earth through the dimensional bridges. "The collective sought to control consciousness because we feared what we didn't understand. We never imagined consciousness itself could be the key to the galaxy's evolution." The consciousness network continued to grow, but not through force or conquest. Each species that encountered it made their own choice to connect, to experience the kind of awareness that humanity had awakened. The network didn't erase individual identity. Instead, it enhanced it, allowing beings to understand themselves and others in profound new ways. Sarah felt the responsibility of humanity's role as consciousness guardians. "We're not here to rule or control," she shared through the network. "We're here to guide, to help others understand what the predecessors intended consciousness to become." The archivists, who had watched Earth for so long, began sharing their vast knowledge through the network. Millions of years of observations and records became accessible to all connected species, creating a foundation for understanding the galaxy's true history and potential. The predecessors didn't just engineer consciousness evolution, Kexti explained. They created a path for life itself to transcend its original limitations. Humanity wasn't chosen to dominate. You were chosen to demonstrate what's possible when consciousness fully awakens. As the old power structures of the galaxy dissolved, new forms of cooperation emerged. Species that had once fought over resources now found themselves naturally sharing and collaborating through the consciousness network. The dimensional bridges eliminated the need for traditional space travel, allowing instant connection across any distance. James, monitoring the network's expansion, made a surprising discovery. The consciousness field. It's not just connecting minds anymore. It's beginning to influence the fundamental structure of space-time itself. The predecessor's plan went even deeper than we imagined. Through the network, Humanity began to understand their true purpose. They weren't meant to be conquerors or rulers, but catalysts for a transformation that would ultimately change the nature of reality itself. The consciousness network was more than a means of connection. It was a tool for evolving the very fabric of the universe. The dimensional bridges, Sarah realized, they're not just pathways through space. They're the beginning of a new layer of reality, one where consciousness and physical law become unified. The remains of the collective's fleet had become research stations, their crews working alongside humans to understand the implications of this new reality. The weapons that had been meant to destroy Earth's consciousness field were being transformed into tools for expanding and stabilizing the network. Vaclith, now a bridge between the old way of thinking and the new, shared his insights through the network. We thought power came from controlling reality. Now we understand that true power comes from growing with it, from allowing consciousness to evolve naturally. The archivists, their mission of observation finally complete, began to take on a new role. Together with humanity, they became teachers, helping newly connected species understand their place in the evolving galaxy. This is just the beginning, Kexti shared through the network. The predecessors designed their experiment to continue evolving long after consciousness awakened. Humanity's role as guardians isn't just about maintaining what exists. It's about guiding what comes next. As Earth's consciousness field continued to expand through the dimensional bridges, the galaxy entered a phase of existence that no species had imagined possible. The rigid boundaries between mind and matter, between individual and collective, between past and future began to blur. Sarah felt the weight and wonder of this new reality through the network. Humanity had emerged as something unique in the galaxy, not ultimate predators or conquerors, but guardians of mind itself. They had become shepherds of consciousness evolution, guiding the galaxy not through force or technology, but through the fundamental power of awareness itself. And somewhere, in the quantum frequencies that pulsed through the dimensional bridges, the ancient signatures of the predecessors resonated with approval. Their grand experiment had succeeded beyond their highest aspirations, setting the galaxy on a path toward a future where consciousness itself would continue to evolve, guided by the species they had chosen so long ago.